Hi again, everyone. I'm olliemathews. This is Societal Narcissism, and this video is sponsored by contribution from Candace. And Candace is one of my monthly recurring supporters. So I usually do a couple of videos for her. She sends some of her own, and I do a couple of random ones for her at my choosing as well. She's been very, very generous, so thank you again. So what we have here, and we're continuing down the demon road of what's been going on, and it comes down to this. And these are 3 clips from Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is with Daily Wire. He made a movie or a documentary, What is a Woman? He goes after a lot of these the alphabet people trying to change kids over, and these are clips from a hearing in Tennessee yesterday. Now you figure Tennessee is a red state. Like, are they really having these issues? Like, yes, they are, because they still have Democrats and they still have weak Republicans. And the kids in the red states are exactly the kids that they're trying to convert. But I think this whole conversion thing isn't really about the conversion. It's about something else. It's about the consent. Not so much the consent for the conversion, for the consent of what we watched yesterday in the congressional hearings, where the former head of Trust and Safety, Mr. Yoel Roth, was writing dissertations. Can children consent to sex with their children willingly? Should children be allowed to join? Children should be allowed, not should. Children should be allowed to join Grifter, a gay male hookup app, for his doctoral dissertation at an Ivy League university, Penn. That's what he got his doctorate for. That's the dissertation that got him the doctorate. Because that's what it's really about. It's not about the sex change. It's about the minor being able to consent. Because if they can consent to that, they can consent to other stuff. And that's what they're really after. They'll sacrifice these kids. Yeah. Be who you are. Be who you are. Be who you're old enough to consent. Oh, you know what else you're able to consent for? That's what it's about. So let's watch these 3 clips. Testified today at a committee hearing in support of a bill banning child mutilation in Tennessee. A Democrat on the committee asked what qualifies me to speak on the subject. It was a very dumb question, but I tried my best to answer it. See, the first thing they're going to do, any type of narcissist, sociopath, Marxist, communist, they're going to try to disqualify you. You're not even qualified to speak on this. Why would you even talk about it? That's the first thing they're going to do. And when that doesn't work, they're then going to try to attack you for things you said in the past of why you shouldn't be listened to. And it's at that point that it gets really interesting and really funny, and they show these guys got nothing. So here we go. These are pretty short.
Can you give us a summary of your educational background or your healthcare education experience?
Mr. Walsh, you're recognized.
My experience in healthcare?
Your educational background. I'm just curious.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Because they're trying to disqualify. You shouldn't even be listened to. What's your educational background?
You've testified as to a lot of your own research. So I'm curious for what purpose you do that and what background you have to qualify you to speak to that.
Rep. John Ray Clements, D for Demon, Nashville.
Well, my background that qualifies me to speak to this is that I'm a human being with a brain and common sense, and I have a soul. And so therefore I think it's a really bad idea to chemically castrate children. That is my experience. Also, I did, now it's true, I I didn't go to college, but I did go to school long enough to learn how to read.
Exactly.
So I can read the data for myself, and that's exactly what I've done.
These people take themselves so seriously. They take those useless pieces of paper that they get out of these indoctrination camps, known as college universities, so seriously, and they put their entire identity behind them. You didn't go to college? Huh, why should we listen to you? Because I can read and I can comprehend.
Representative Clements, you're
And for what purpose do you conduct your research and use this brain of yours?
Mr. Walsh, you're recognized.
I use it for the purpose of trying to protect children from being castrated and mutilated. That's one of the things I try to do.
You don't use it to...
Clements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You don't use it to get clicks on your
Let's state that.
publication?
Grifter, there's the grifter. There's the grifter accusation that is always going to come from these demons.
Well, are you using it right now to try to get clicks with this interaction?
Throw it right back in his face.
I really like the
Mr.
idea
Walsh.
of getting of drawing attention to the fact that this is happening to children. I know you seem to find it very amusing. I don't.
And they do. And they do. They think they can snark their way out of their degeneracy. No, not on this. Next clip, and this is the important, another Democrat. And this is exactly how you handle clowns like this.
I found it, thank you, Mr. Walsh. I found it interesting. One of our people testified today that they had their gender affirming surgery at 16. And I know you in former comments mentioned this on your blog. At about 16, you're an adult who's mature and can make decisions. You're that at 16. I don't care what anybody says. Even going so far as to say, 16 people. When you're 16, you should be married and could be pregnant or should be pregnant. So I'm curious if 16 is an adult in your view. Why does this bill have the minor defined as 18?
Mr. Walsh, you're recognized.
Yeah, that's a hit piece you took from Media Matters, from something when I was.
Media Matters, one of the most disgusting websites on the planet. Hates conservatives, liberal demons. That's what they are.
A radio host 13, 14 years ago, in my early 20s. It's also not an accurate reflection of what I actually said. I was talking about the fact that people tended to marry young historically, and that's all that was about. How does that relate to this?
Exactly. How does this relate to this subject? So you took something out of context that I said 13, 14 years ago that used to marry earlier, long time ago, which is 100% true. What does this have to do with anything? But he knows, because he's just trying to disqualify him, so people are like, oh, I don't got to listen to him. This is what he said. Even if he meant it, okay, at 20, when he said it 13, 14 years ago in his early 20s, okay, he could evolve from that as well. But I heard the original statement. It's not what he said. It was in a broader context of marrying younger years and years ago.
Just curious of your definition of people are adults at 16 should.
No, people are adults at 18, but actually, your brain is not fully developed until you're 25.
Which is a great point. Your brain's not fully developed until you're 25. You don't know anything, Things change. It just does. But you become an adult at 18, and 18 is what it is.
So we should be having a conversation about whether we should even be doing these surgeries to people at 18. But certainly before 18, it's absurd. I mean, do you think that a 16-year-old can meaningfully consent to have their body parts removed?
Perfect. You throw it right back on them. Throw it right back. You're questioning me. Like, well, what do you? You're trying to pin something on me that I said that you think that I believed 12, 13 years ago. Well, what do you believe now? Do you think a 16-year-old is old enough to consent to having body parts cut off?
Do you? No?
Tumbleweeds. Shut them down. Shut him down in his own.
Yeah, we ask the questions. It's not. It's,
We would say fuck you, and that's the chairman, and he's a Republican. You know what? Fuck you. No, I'll ask the questions here. I'll ask the questions because these guys ask questions setting up because they're not really questions. They're statements in the form of a question. They're accusations in the form of a question meant to shut you up and disqualify your opinion from anybody else listening to it, believing it, or going with it. Do you believe in 16-year-olds cutting off their body parts? No answer. And that's an elected official. They don't want to say it because it's about the consent. It's not about the sex change. It's not. They need that because what they really want is they want to be able to have these minors to consent to anything. To consent to being on hookup apps. To consent to being able to sleep with teachers. That's where these people are. They're out of their minds. They're demons. It isn't about what they're saying it's about. It's not. And they will sacrifice child after child after child after child to get their end goal, because their end goal isn't about converting sexes. It isn't. That is a tool they're using. It's about the consent for sexual activity. It's about the consent to get minors on Grifter. It's about the consent for teachers to be able to hook up with their minor students. That's what it's always been about. So, I'm not going to play the last one because that one has gender, and it might YouTube might not like it. So, and I'm going to leave it at that because I made my point here. Understand what these demons are after. You saw it yesterday in the hearing that the head of trust and safety for Twitter, the former head of trust and safety for Twitter, wrote his doctoral dissertation by saying minors should be able to join Grifter. Asked if children can ever consent to having sex with their teachers. The consent isn't about this. For the rainbow, for a lot of the rainbow people they are. But not for the Penn universities. Not for these demon Democrats. It's about the consent. Because I've been telling you, this is how they control themselves, control each other. I'm telling you, this is how they barter with each other. This is how they control each other. And it's sick. So, I'm going to leave that right there. Thank you, Candace, for your monthly recurring. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism. Take care, everyone.